Hey, welcome back to the set of LA 36 and the Armed and Dangerous podcast. I am your host, Steve Calhoun. Hey, I have a very special guest today. I think this guy might love ball a little bit more than me because he's older, but I love ball. So it might be, he might be one, I might be 1B, and then Josh Booty is two. But hey, with no further ado, let me introduce my guest for today, Noel Mazzone. Hey, welcome to the show.
Steve, my God, wearing the New Mexico State gear, the whole deal. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Hey, Steve,
absolutely.
I'm honored that you invited me on your show. All right. I
Definitely.
realize you called me like 30 minutes before the show started because 10 other guys turned you down, and you said Mazzone will do it because he ain't doing nothing. But um, yeah, this is fun. This is awesome.
No,
I wish you nothing but the best of luck. You deserve
n-
it.
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I definitely had to rock my New Mexico State gear. You are a former New Mexico Lobo quarterback. Oh, but the thing that ties everything all together is that your son, Taylor Mazzone, is now the quarterback coach at New Mexico State. So I was just wondering, why are you not rocking your Aggie gear and supporting your son?
I don't know. It's tough. I got the grand boys are running around the house now with their Aggie gear on, you know. And then actually, he just had his prospect camp yesterday, and I sent like six of the kids from Hamilton down to his camp. So I got to admit, though, I'm a New Mexico Lobo, but blood is thicker than water, and
Yes,
now
sir.
I love the Aggies.
There we go. I love it. I love it. So, hey, just tell my viewers a little bit about your background. I mean, I can go on and on, but you have way more accurate detail about where you started, how'd you get into coaching, and some of the spots that you had the opportunity to
Oh
coach
my,
at.
how long is your show?
Give us a Cliff Note version.
Let me give you the Reader's Digest version. Uh, oh my God, left New Mexico. I spent got into college coaches in 1982. That's how
Yep.
old I am.
Wow.
1995, I took my first coordinator's job at Ole Miss in the
Nice.
SEC. I
Ooh
was a
wee.
coordinator every year except for a short 4 year stint with the Jets
Mm-hmm.
and one year stint with Oregon State with Coach Erickson. Other than that, I've been an offensive coordinator at my gosh, UCLA, Texas A&M, and North Carolina State, Ole Miss, uh,
Ooh.
Arizona State. It's been a lot of them. And I
Yeah.
think, Steve, I met you when I first came to Arizona State back. It must have been 2010.
That was in
And then,
2010.
yeah, and then I don't remember how we actually met. We became very good friends. And and Steve, that's when if you wanted a guy to train a quarterback, you were one of only two guys you called in the country back in
Exactly.
those days,
I
right?
remember.
And then when I moved, then it worked out good because then I went to UCLA, and I think 2012, and you used to come by all the time and bring your guys out and train.
Yep, no doubt about it. The one person who connected me and you and kind of connects everybody else around the world is Josh Booty. So I was with
That's right.
Josh in Scottsdale, and he was like, "Hey, you got to meet my
Yes.
main man, Noel Mazzone."
Yes.
So you guys got that
That's right.
LSU Tiger background, and so that's how we ended up
Yes.
meeting. But yeah, I
And then I
mean,
was so excited. Steve, I was so excited when Taylor got offered the job by Tony out in Las Cruces. And then I didn't even occur to me until Taylor called me the next day and said, "Oh man, I can't wait to tell Calhoun I'm an Aggie."
there we go. Hey, everything runs full circle, which is awesome. Now, just talking about the high school you went to, La Cueva High School. I mean, just how small the football world really is. The New Mexico Gatorade Player of the Year's name is Cam Dyer, plays at La Cueva High School, just committed to Arizona State. So that's how small the football world is. I didn't know for a while that you went to La Cueva High School until we were just kind of talking about our
No, no,
background
no,
and
no,
let me
no,
know.
no, no. Hold on. I didn't go to La Cueva.
Oh, I'm sorry. See there? Thank
Okay.
you for correcting me.
I did not go. I went to Raton, New Mexico High School, but I went to
Ah,
UNM.
there we go.
And then
Okay.
both my college roommates went to La Cueva.
I
And
knew
so
there was a
I knew
connection.
yes. So I basically spent a lot of time with the La Cueva people, but
Okay.
El Dorado, La Cueva, all up in that area of town.
Definitely.
But hey, so Cam's going to be here in Phoenix, Steve. We got to get you out here to spend some time with him.
Oh, hey, no doubt about it. I'm there. I mean, I love to,
Yeah.
any opportunity to get a chance to work with you. I mean, I mean, you've been mentoring me over these last however many years, 10 to 12 years. I've learned so much. I mean, you have forgotten more football than I've learned. So I mean, I appreciate you just taking
I
me
don't
under
know
your
about
wing.
that. You want? I know this isn't. I know everybody knows we're friends, and so we're just gonna like pump each other up. But all sincerity, right? I mean, I remember watching you train your guys back at UCLA, and through the years, I've invited you always to every camp I've ever done or any All Star games. You're always the first guy on my list because I love the way you coach quarterbacks.
No, I appreciate it.
So
No, I really appreciate it. Well, hey, let's jump in and get right into some of the topics. Um, NIL. Hey, you're a
wow.
former college coach. I would love to hear. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to you yet since it's gone bananas. Um, how would you handle the NIL situation that's going on right now if you're a college coach?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a wild, wild west, right? Which
Yes.
everybody knows, and it's
Hmm.
collectives, and I mean, you have some Power Five teams that are dealing with 20 million in their collective, and some other teams like the New Mexico States of the world that are dealing with maybe 1 million in their collective. So
Correct.
the playing field is not level with the NIL deal right now.
Yeah.
Okay, the rich are getting richer, and you got to keep developing those funds. And now with the NIL trickling down to the high school level, I don't know if it is in what it is in California. I think
Not
there's
sure.
like 9 or 10 states now that have NIL deals for high school players,
Uh huh.
but it opens up this July in Arizona,
Wow.
and being around the high school players here now, I've already seen the effect of. I mean, we just had a quarterback. I'm not going to name names or schools, but we
Yeah.
just had a quarterback thinking about transferring from Texas high school to Arizona high school, and he was saying, well, he was making $20,000 a year. He was getting a $20,000 a year NIL deal in Texas. Could he get one in Arizona? So you can see it's already the trickle down effect of the NIL. And I think at some point, this is my opinion, one man's opinion. I
Of
think at
course.
some point you're going to see that top 64, those top four power leagues that they're building. I
Yes.
can see them kind of breaking off and having to build some sort of a structure, almost like an NFL type pay structure. Maybe
Hmm.
put a salary cap on your collective and try to level the playing field a little bit.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand. I mean, I remember when you coached at Texas A&M, and I'm not saying this is true or not, but you guys kind of already had a NIL deals kind of going on. I think a lot of the SEC, a lot of college football kind of already had this going on. But
But it
again,
wasn't. But it wasn't legal. Now it's
but
legal.
exactly. So I mean,
Yes.
you guys at Texas A&M, you guys had resources on top of resources to bring in players. So I mean, you're talking about the
Yes.
playing fields not being level. I mean, just from Texas A&M to Vanderbilt. I think
Well, I
there's a
mean, I mean, last Steve, I think when it started, 2 years ago, whatever, Texas A&M had $22 million in their collective.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and you're right. And then you then dial up Vanderbilt, and they may have 2 million.
right, yeah,
Right. So now instead of offering one of these transfer portal kids, like what the Gabriel kid make the Oregon 3 million or whatever,
uh huh,
to go to a school, you don't have that much money.
right,
So it
exactly,
kind of limits who you're going to go after and who you can really look at. And I'm gonna tell you where it really hurts me the most, Steve, and I know you see it too.
yes.
Is it has really changed the whole recruiting game for your high school quarterback.
That leads into my next question. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Um, do you see the impact that it's having on high school football? Because I mean, you're coaching high school football at Hamilton now. Are you really seeing that impact? Is it really as bad as people saying it is?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. You're dealing with two factors. One is, that yeah, the top that top level kid is going to get his opportunity, but it's after that top level high school quarterback. It's all the rest of those thousands of kids that are
Sure.
not going to probably have the opportunities because are you going to go get your second high school quarterback or are you going to go sign a portal kid that's got been in college for 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
All right. And then the next thing where I saw the impact is now there's so much pressure. I don't know if pressure is the right word,
Hmm.
but some households for the high school player now to transfer or get to the opportunity where he can have put up good numbers or have
Yeah,
good showings or whatever to be recognized as a good player. So now the high school kid is chasing the NIL dollar.
yeah,
So
definitely.
now they're chasing it in high school, then they're going to chase it in college, and now they're chasing the NFL. So it's a definite trickle down from the NFL.
Yeah. Hey, my other question to you, Noel, is what do you think about paying high school players that are coming to college that have not proven anything? They haven't thrown one ball in college. So, yes, they were great high school players, but can that translate into college? What do you think about paying those guys up front even before they're throwing the football?
Yeah, I think it's crazy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, but that's the world we live in now. I mean, what about the third string quarterback from the Alabamas or the Floridas or whatever? That all you get to watch on him is maybe some spring tape or
True.
some scout team practice tape. It's never really taken meaningful snaps in a real game. And you're another school, and you sign him out of the portal. I mean, there's no guarantees there that that kid's going to walk in and change your program or be the type of player you want. So it's a very you know quick to determine a talent level and
Hmm.
quick to determine he's either good or not good enough or good enough for us to win with, and then you move on.
Yeah.
It's like Steve. It's like speed dating, right?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. You know, what's some of the advice I've been giving my players that are talking to me about possibly going into the portal, and I tell them, hey, sometimes the grass is not always greener um, at that other school. You know, you might want to just stay and grind. Nobody wants to grind anymore. That's why, one of my slogans is, hey, turning big rocks into little rocks with a small hammer. They're like, what?
Yes.
I got to swing a hammer
No.
and break that rock? No, no, I can just go over there and I can be the guy. So
No,
that's,
no, you need to change, Steve. You need to change your motto from swing that little NIL deal to a big NIL deal. Okay, for
that's
that,
exactly right.
right?
That's exactly right.
Because I mean, you're exactly right. For the now, I mean, I just had this conversation yesterday at the practice I was at about there's freshman high school guys that are transferring to different high schools because they don't think they're going to play for start for the varsity high school team.
Wow.
I mean, I just don't understand it, and a lot of that, it's just kind of the environment that they live in now.
Yeah. I don't really see it coming to an end. I just think I don't know how you regulate it. I think
No,
it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it's just going to be things that we're going to have to
yeah,
just deal with going forward.
yeah. I think Steve, the genie's out of the bottle.
Hmm.
I mean, with the antitrust and the government and the federal government and all that, I don't think there's anything they can do with us not paying college players or high school players. I do think, though, at some point that there has to be somebody that'll come in and structure it, just like they did in the NFL, right?
Hmm.
Just like when they started to develop the salary caps, and then they started structuring your contracts for a first rounder or second rounder. Because I think at some point, if it's got to happen. If not, it's like you said, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse.
Yeah. So you coached several years in college. When you were recruiting a quarterback, for all my young quarterbacks that are listening and parents especially, what did you look at, or yeah, what'd you look at a quarterback that made him want to recruit him? What were
I
some of
mean,
the
after you get
criteria?
right after you get by the tangible things that everybody in the stadium can see, right?
Hmm.
Is he athletic? Is he competitive? Can he throw the ball? Does he have arm talent? Right?
Hmm.
Um, that I mean, those things those are kind of like just price of admissions to
Okay.
play to be a Power Five quarterback, right? Okay, but there's a lot of guys that had arm talent and were competitive and you know had great arm talent that are working at 7-Eleven right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to dive more into and check and try to check all the intangible boxes.
Hmm.
Okay, because there's a lot more to being a quarterback, as you well know. I mean, I feel like I'm in a physics class and I'm trying to teach physics to the professor here. All right, but there's a lot of things that guys check the boxes that you don't necessarily see on film.
Correct.
right? What type of teammate, their work ethic, what kind of integrity they have. Are they high character guys? What happens when everything goes sideways? How do they react to that? And what happens when they have tons of success? How do they react to those things?
Yeah.
Because there's very few comedy denominators for franchise quarterbacks, but the comedy denominators that there are in franchise quarterbacks, they all have a lot of those qualities. As
Yeah.
far as it's important to them, they have a passion for the game, right? They want to be they want to learn every day. They never wake up any day thinking that they know everything they need to know about playing the position. And I bet you could say that about Tom Brady after
Yeah.
20 years, right? I bet
Yeah.
he woke up thinking, what can I learn today to make me a better player? So it's
Absolutely.
all those type of things.
Yeah, you talked about the physical stuff that you can already see in the arm talent. I could think of somebody that you had the opportunity to coach that didn't have the fastest quarterback, didn't have the biggest arm, but was very cerebral, and that's Philip Rivers when he was at NC State. Can you talk a little bit
Oh my
about,
God.
yeah, talk a little
Yeah.
bit about him?
So, quick story about Philip. So, Coach Tuberville and I jump in a plane to go watch Philip play in Athens, Georgia, right? Athens, Alabama, sorry, to play his high school game. So he's playing free safety and quarterback. This is what a great evaluator I am, Steve. All right. So we fly in, we watch the game, and it's obvious the kid is a good football player. But watching him throw, and I'm like, Tubbs, I don't know if this guy's a quarterback. I mean, he throws kind of funny, and it's kind of you know what I'm saying.
Yes,
It's kind of
yes,
sidearm and all, but I mean, he's competitive. He plays hard. He does all those things. But I don't know if he's a quarterback. So we end up offering. We walk into his dad, Steve, is his high school coach. So after the game, Steve and Philip and myself and Tubbs go to Steve's office, and Tubbs says, "Okay, let's offer him a scholarship." All right. And so we walk in and we're going to offer at Auburn. We're going to offer Philip a scholarship. And I don't think he had, but maybe one offer at this point.
hmm
And so I said, Philip, we'd like to offer you a scholarship. Now I don't know if you're going to be able to play quarterback for us or not. All right, you could maybe play tight end or free safety, but I'm going to offer you. We're going to offer you a scholarship. Just shows you my ability to evaluate talent, Steve. The guy, the guy was only all pro and one of the best players I've ever coached, best
yeah,
quarterbacks, everything. But he checked so many other boxes, it wasn't even funny.
yeah. I mean, just talking to Keenan Allen, who's he's going to be on my show here at a later date. But talking to him, he played with Philip several years, and he just talked about how smart Philip was, and I mean, he was like, "Hey, Keenan, they're about to blitz," and he was like, "No, no, they're not." And sure enough, he was right,
No,
10 out of 10 times.
and he was like that in college, Steve.
Wow.
Same guy. I mean, he just got the game right.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you know what he did? He wasn't overly athletic, but man, he had some of the best pocket presence I've ever been around. Is being able
Yes.
to slide out of trouble and then make the throws.
hmm
So Keenan and my daughter and her husband are good friends. So you know that
Absolutely.
Rocco.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I do. Yeah. That's another, how football kind of ties everybody together. Um, so, moving to the next transition of questions I want to talk to you about. So, you've been an evaluator in college as a college coach. You also were an evaluator, for the Jets. So, let's talk about the draft or this past draft with 4 quarterbacks. Going in the first
Yeah.
11 picks or 10 picks or something like that.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's kind of funny how, and I know because like you and I are a couple old heads, Steve, but you noticed how quarterbacks are always because if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team. It's hard to have an
Yeah,
offense, right?
correct.
Okay, but what I have really noticed is the amount of receivers. It's like right now it's quarterbacks, receivers, left tackles, and edge rushers,
Yes,
right?
that are making
It's
the move.
so which tells you it's a passing league.
Correct.
Okay.
That's it.
You got to rush the passer. You got to protect the passer. You got to have a guy that can throw it and a guy that can catch it. All right. Where it used to be running backs were always drafted high. Remember
hmm
back in the days, if you were like the top receiver, I mean, if you were a top receiver, you went maybe second, third round.
Wow.
Okay. Now what? I don't know. 10 went or a lot went in the first round. Um, but I had a chance to with Salisbury, Sean.
Yes.
So Sean and I, we did a little evaluation of those guys, and I watched a bunch of film on JJ and Penix and Bo Nix and Caleb and I know I'm going to forget a name, Drake.
Yep.
I'm going to forget a name here too. And then obviously I got Spencer Rattler here in town. I've spent a lot of time with Spencer,
Hmm.
him throwing and doing some classroom work with him. And for me, after when I got done, for me to say, okay, any one of these kids is a surefire franchise quarterback, I couldn't.
Okay.
And for me to sit there and say any one of these quarterbacks couldn't be a franchise quarterback, I couldn't.
Okay.
So I think it's a very talented group.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that like a kid like Caleb, I mean, I haven't had a chance to sit in a room and visit with these guys, mostly all of them, but just off the film and watching them on TV and those things. Here's a guy that can make basically every throw you need him to make
Correct.
from any place on the field.
Yes.
Has tremendous arm. He can slot the ball wherever he wants. He can throw it deep. He can throw it short. He's got all the throws. All right.
Hmm.
Can he step in and run a system offense? I don't know.
Yeah,
You know.
that's going to be.
And then you look at a guy like Bo Nix who has 50 plus games under his belt in major universities, Power 5 football, and has won a lot of games, right? So that's hard to ever discount that. And the same thing with JJ, his whole career.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I think they all will make a state. I think that whole group will have a presence in the NFL, but it's like anything, right? Who would ever guess Tom would have been what he did when he was a 6th-round pick,
Yeah,
right?
no doubt about it.
And then you go down the list and look at all the 1st-round picks you never hear from again,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
a lot of it depends on timing, being in the right team, being in the right system. There's a lot of factors, but I like all those kids.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up next week, I'll be down at the Manning Passing Academy. And one of the cool things we get a chance to do is work out the college quarterbacks. They invite between 40 and 45 of the top college quarterbacks from around the country to come in and be counselors for the 1,200 to 1,300 high school kids. So we get a chance to work them out, be around them for 3.5 days, and just kind of find out what makes them tick off the field. We could be playing ping pong, and you could see how competitive these guys are. It could be ping pong, it could be Monopoly. I mean, these guys are really, really competitors. But they
Who
all could. Go
who'd you
ahead.
have down there? Who'd you
I
have
mean,
down there?
everybody you named. I mean,
So
except
okay, all
except for
right, all
Caleb.
right. I'm gonna
Except for
put you
Caleb.
on the spot. You got the first pick in the draft.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh huh.
Right now, you got the first pick. You're on the clock. Okay. They're asking for your card. Who are you taking?
Michael Penix Jr.
That guy's unbelievable.
He is
I watched all
unbelievable.
his film. His arm talent's crazy, isn't it,
Yes, it
Steve?
is. Yes. I mean, I seen him when he was
Yes.
at Indiana, and then I saw him, when he was at Washington. So I saw him 2 years down at the Manning camp and got a chance to work with him a little bit, and just to see him make all the different throws, it was. And he's out there with
It,
all the big dogs, and it didn't
yeah.
phase him. He was just like, okay, oh, you made a good throw? Here,
And
let me just show
you
you
know
how to
what?
do it.
You know what's so funny is when I started watching him, I didn't want to like him, right? Not because of who he is or anything, but I
Right.
was like, he's a guy that just looks to one guy and throws it, right?
Yeah.
But then the more I watched on him, I mean, he's throwing with guys in his face, and
Yes.
he's moving off into the second and third progressions. He's
Yes.
looking guy. I mean, I really liked him.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, hey, so what do you have going on? I know you have a facility going on. Before we get to that, I want to talk about the
It's
U.S.
the new
Army.
armed and dangerous. It's the new armed and dangerous facility in Scottsdale. Everybody.
I love it. I love it. Let's go. I'm gonna be spending a lot of time out there. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the U.S. Army game that we both have an opportunity to work at every January. Um,
Yes.
how's that evaluation going? Of this upcoming class for this 2024
I,
class or 2025?
yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a pretty solid class again, like it always is.
Hmm.
I think that's going to do nothing but grow. First of all, I really appreciate Steve all the times you jump on planes and come help out really anything that we're doing or I'm
Definitely.
doing, and you come in and are truly a tremendous asset to anything I've ever done,
I appreciate it.
and you always show up, right?
Definitely.
Even though you always want me to buy dinner, you always show up, right? Um, but no, that's going good. I'm getting ready to I'm working on this new league down in Mexico called the
Okay.
IFA. It's actually not Mexico. It's an international league.
Okay.
It's going to have two. It's got two teams looking for three. It's got two already. It's got getting ready to. They're looking to sign another team, and it's got six teams in the states. And you
Nice.
got guys like Hal Mummy, Art Briles, guys like that as head coaches,
Nice.
which is going to be another spring league. Which is basically they're not trying to compete with the UFL, but they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be. If the UFL was AAA ball, this would be AA ball.
Okay.
So to kind of develop a proving ground for the UFL to go find guys from.
Ah, that's
Okay.
nice.
Um, don't worry, you're going to be involved. You're
Okay.
going to be getting phone calls, Steve. Don't worry. You're,
That's
you're, you're going to be getting on planes to Guadalajara, Mexico, real
let's
quick.
go.
All right.
I've been practicing my Spanish along with my German. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so that's the one we started before, and you were helping
Okay.
out in Europe.
Yes,
They
definitely.
kind of they kind of put the halts on the Europe piece right now
Okay.
because they want to kind of see if the league can get going, and then maybe bring in some European leagues or
Okay.
teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Doing that, and then oh, by the way, Steve, we might be going to Germany the second week of September to coach a U.S. college all or U.S. college all not a college a U.S. All Star team against the EFL All Star team,
Oh wow,
which will
that's
be
going
in
to be
Germany.
interesting. That would be
So
interesting.
you'll be on that plane also, and don't worry, we're not taking Booty as a quarterback.
Okay.
Okay, he's not playing this year.
Hey,
Okay.
he
So
has to let
little
somebody
did
else
you,
shine.
hey, little did you know, I have you committed to a lot of things over the next year or two. Okay.
Exactly. Hey, but hey, I don't mind it at all because anything you're involved with, I know it's going to be a quality and it's going to be detailed because I mean we're both all about the details as far as
Um,
coaching
plus,
ball.
plus, for our listeners out there who don't know it, Coach Calhoun is a he's like the the Heisman of Europe, of Germany. Everybody knows him out there.
So, by the way, I have a job for you as well. You know, I do my East West Shrine high school camp along with the East West Shrine game. So
Yes,
you attended my first one.
I
You
know, and I
said that I
missed the
worked.
last one.
You missed the last one because you said I worked you too hard. You said
Yes,
I was cracking the
yes,
whip, but I
yes.
definitely got to get you back out to Dallas because the kids were
Oh,
asking
100%.
about
I
you.
was, yeah. But I did send Taylor, didn't I?
You did send, yeah, you sent to Mazzone. It wasn't Noel, but
Yes.
it was Taylor. Yeah. Yeah, chip off
No,
the old block.
at least it wasn't Grayson.
Okay. But definitely. Hey, so just tell me a little bit before we wrap up. Tell me a little bit about your facility that you are building out in Scottsdale and what it entails.
Wow. Well, I'm really excited. Honestly, this is something I've been working towards since like 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, when I was at ASU, they used to, and like a lot of the stuff that you do, Steve. Tebow and RG3 and Julio Jones and AJ Green and Randall, all these guys would come to Scottsdale to train, getting
Mm-hmm.
ready for their pro days. And at that point, there was really not a place where they could get everything they needed in one place.
Okay.
We had to travel all over town and those type of things. And then me having the chance to meet guys like you that have so much to offer some of these kids that are trying to take that next step, not only from college, not even from high school to college, but from college to the NFL. All right.
Definitely.
That I wanted to build a place where they would have access to guys like you. All
Okay.
right. They would have access to classroom work, to field work, to watching tape, learning how to watch tape, all the things. Because as you know, with the portal and the NIL, and especially in the NFL, I mean, it's a lot of times it's a one and done league, right, Steve? I mean,
Absolutely.
you got to come in. You got to come in right away and be able to compete, or they'll move on. And
Yeah.
so, what I did is I've been ready to break ground on a new facility out here that's going to have a couple football fields. It's going to have weight room, classrooms. It's going to have a PT area. I've actually added a few pickleball courts
There we go.
because I'm going to do something with some youth football,
Okay.
and then 7-on-7 flag football. But I basically wanted a training facility that was family. To me, what binds us all together is family.
Yes.
All right, and a lot of times what binds families together is sports. And
Correct.
so I wanted this to be a place where it would have a culture and a place where we all could come. Remember in the old days, Steve, when you played football, what'd you do? You hung out with your boys at the
Just hung
facility,
out.
right?
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Right. And guess what? Like all the guys that are done playing, they don't miss not playing as much as they miss the locker room, right?
Exactly.
They
Yep.
miss going jumping in the weight room with their guys and talking and keeping those relationships going. So I wanted to like kind of have something like that for
Okay.
everybody. But
Well, that's
there's another thing. Don't worry. You've been committed to a lot in that project too, Steve. Just so you
no.
know.
Hey, like I said before, hey, anything you got going, definitely sign me up. Even things that you haven't even told me about. But hey, again, I appreciate, I appreciate you being on my show today. Uh, you kind of came in as a pitch hitter. Like you
I
said,
know I
10 other,
did.
10 other guys said, no, I'm not doing the show today. So I said, let me call my main man, No. But
Yeah,
so I
call
appreciate
Mazzone. Call Mazzone. He's never doing anything.
no, but again, hey, I'll see you out here in July. You said you'll be here, so we'll definitely
Yeah,
connect.
I'll call you that week before, Steve, and come out there and I'll see you then. And then I'm gonna go down and be in San Diego for a few days, so we'll get
Okay,
together.
perfect.
All right.
Well, hey,
Hey,
again,
Steve, man, excited for you. This is a hell of a deal. You'll do a great job.
no,
Fired
I
up
appreciate it.
for you.
Yep. Hey, definitely, you're going to be on another episode, so be looking for that.
Thank you. Hey, next time can we do you, me, and Booty?
Done. That's done.
Yes.
In the
Yeah, we'll
studio.
get Josh on here. Huh?
In the studio.
Yes,
Definitely.
in the studio. Maybe in July we'll come in the studio, me and Josh. We'll hang out
Awesome.
and talk.
Done deal.
All right.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
awesome. Hey, well,
Thanks,
hey.
Steve.
Yep. See you, buddy. Okay. Take care. Hey, thank you for tuning in and watching another episode of Armed and Dangerous Podcast. Again, I am your host, Steve Calhoun. Hey, tune in next week for another exciting guest.